What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is feeling good this morning. So let's go ahead and get into this crazy story. So this story took place on January the 26th, 2024, but the actual footage has just come out and it's making its waves all over social media. So you had a guy by the name of Mingo, I believe his name is, and a couple of brothers by the name of Omari Malik Shumpert and Demetrius Trenton Shumpert that dressed up as UPS workers and went to this house, and they basically were trying to rob them, and they were looking for money specifically, of course, and they ended up taking the lives of 39-year-old Mario Alberto Trejo Estrada. Also, his wife was found deceased as well, and her name was Shannon Patricia Jungwirth, and also their son, who was only 20 years old, and his name was Jorge Reyes-Jungwirth. And so this is just a crazy situation, because the reason why they were able to obtain those UPS outfits is because Mingo had previously worked for the company, and he basically had an extra stash of them, and he provided himself and the assailants with the attire to go to these individuals' home and pose as UPS drivers with the common goal to gain access inside the house. And so they were successful, and for the life of me, I don't understand, because me personally, if I know that I haven't ordered anything, no one is coming in my house. But I guess these three buffoons said something that really made the guy feel comfortable with letting him inside the home, and things went left quick. Now, the video is god awful, and I wouldn't dare play that portion here on this dignified channel, but it's just god awful to see those babies running around. They actually witnessed the death of both of their parents. Their parents were definitely shot in the head. All three victims were shot in the head, and they were screaming, they were crying. The police came, and how the police was trying to coerce them to come to the door. They were so scared. It's a sick and sad video to watch. It really broke my spirit just to watch this BS. Now, I watched video after video trying to figure out why were they posing as UPS drivers or workers to actually invade that particular home, because when you look at the home, and this is not me being funny, everybody was saying the same thing, it doesn't look like they have a lot. But I finally came across a video that explains the ulterior motive that these three clowns had, and I'm going to insert this here, and then I'm also going to play a couple of reactions from other people that are talking about this. I mean, this story is cruel. I suggest, if you want to have a good Christmas Eve and a good Christmas, to not go and find this video if your mental health isn't strong enough to be able to process it and just move on, because you don't know these individuals, right? Shit happens every day, but being the strong individual I am, I can't even stop thinking about those babies, you know, and what they saw. But here's the clip, and I'll be back shortly.
People down, and we do not have a weapon on scene yet.
Records show two men were also found dead inside the home, one in the front doorway, another in an office. The Anoka County Sheriff's Office has identified the victims as Shannon Jungwirth, her 20-year-old son Jorge Reyes-Jungwirth, and her husband Mario Trejo Estrada. According to a search warrant obtained by the Star Tribune, within hours of the shooting, law enforcement searched a storage unit rented by Trejo Estrada in Golden Valley, where they seized mushrooms, marijuana, and meth. The warrants say another storage facility in Egan, also rented by Trejo Estrada, was also searched, and investigators found in a garbage traces of cocaine, fentanyl, and meth. Mingo was arrested Friday afternoon. The complaint says officers found a UPS uniform in his vehicle, and investigators also found Mingo's fingerprints on the cardboard box that was brought into the home before the shooting.
The man you see in this video is not a real UPS driver. He's wearing a UPS uniform to make the family believe he is delivering a package so that he can force his way into the home. In this case, two men came to the house pretending to make a delivery. The oldest son, who was 20 years old, came outside. That is when two men forced their way into the home. In this clip, you can actually see one of the suspects wave a third suspect inside. Inside the home were the mother, the father, and two toddlers. The mother, the father, and the 20-year-old son were killed. The two toddlers were left alive. Court filings showed that allegedly one of the victims was involved in drug trafficking, and the suspects may have believed that there would be drugs or money inside. One individual identified in court records as Mingo was located about an hour later after being pulled over by the police. Reports say that Mingo initially arrived in a blue Altima and that car was registered to him. Court filings also show that Mingo was a former UPS employee, which is how he had access to the uniform. When he was stopped, officers found the UPS uniform in a backpack. His fingerprints were also found on a box inside of the home. He has been convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The two other individuals you see in the video were also convicted and are expected to be sentenced in January of 2026.
And to them fake UPS drivers that killed those 3 adults in front of those 2 kids, that's probably about the most saddest, trifling, devilish thing I have ever seen. Like, not only did you try to rob them and you go inside their house and they give you all the cash or whatever they said they had, and y'all proceeded to ask for more, and they telling you, this all I have, this all I have, and you proceeded to kill the mother and then the father and then the 20-year-old son right in front of the eyes of those 2 young infants. And not only that, the oldest toddler tried to pull the youngest toddler out the room with the mother because the mother is dead right there on the floor. Y'all put 3 bullets in 3 adults and left these kids out here to fend for themselves, to take care of themselves. I got 3 nieces of my own. Man, somebody putting a gun in my head, trying to rob me and kill me right there in front of my nieces. That's so much trauma. Them kids gotta live with that. That's probably about the most saddest thing I ever seen on the internet. And then you would think that they'll feel guilty and bad, and you watching a fucking interrogation video. These people don't have no remorse that they took the lives of these kids, infants, parents. He was denying like he just didn't take 3 innocent lives and left 2 innocent infants to feed for themselves. Now, most people were saying, oh, it probably was the 20-year-old son doing drugs. They was plotting. Whether they was plotting and doing whatever they was doing, one thing any street niggas gonna do is keep kids out of it. At least keep the mama alive. Not saying it was right for him to kill anybody, but you took the mother. You killed the mother first. That's sad.
I agree wholeheartedly, my dude. This is the most sickest and most demonic thing that I've ever seen on the internet ever. I'm pretty sure there's some more sicker and demonic things, but for me personally, I've never seen nothing like this before, and it has my spirit disturbed. I'm not afraid to admit it. It is just so overwhelming, the feelings that I feel for those kids. Even though it happened last year, it doesn't matter when it happened. It's just like, wow, you were so heartless. You guys were so heartless that y'all felt the need to do that in front of those children. Now, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, they are calling these individuals everything but the child of God. And this is one time where I'm gonna shut up and zip it. I have nothing to say. I'm seeing all sorts of racial things being thrown around. And although I don't agree with those sentiments, this is one time I'm gonna mind my business, because I am so livid with these, you know, what I want to do is direct your attention to the clip of Demetrius, one of the guys that was charged with the deletion of these 3 victims. And I just want you to look at his mannerisms and how nonchalant he is and how he doesn't really care, and then had the unmitigated gall to actually yarn.
What did I do?
You were there.
Wasn't there.
You were. I mean, you're probably not going to take my word for it or anything, but I'm not lying to you. I'm not making stuff up. You get out, walk up to the house, it's just you and Alonzo. He knocks on the door. You don't come to the door at first, and you start walking away. On the door there was a camera. And you had gloves on, you had a mask on, but we're still able to tell it's you.
But who there was with no mask on, but it showed it wasn't me. You ain't asked me where was I at, or was I somewhere else, or nothing.
Where were you? I know where you were, but where were you? And then I'll follow up on that. And
you know I was there already, right? That what you said?
The evidence is mounting up so high, it's hard to get out from it, okay?
What do that mean?
That's what you said when you were there. And you also have a very distinct voice.
I don't say nothing like that. I don't know what that means.
I want to hear from you guys. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about this. And I want you all to understand that we live in some times now where it's okay to hold each other accountable. It doesn't mean that we're going against one another. It doesn't mean that we want to see the worst for one another, but we just have to start telling the truth about certain things. We don't have to defend everything as a collective, as a community. We have to be honest. This is some bull, this is some bull right here. So, yeah, drop down. Let me know your thoughts. Get with you guys later. Peace.
Tough News TV. We out.